In this video we're going to look at how to model a cam and follower using Fusion 360. So we're going to start by saving our new file. I'll call it cam follower. And then we're going to create a sketch on the bottom plane so we can extrude that out. We're going to go by 50 by 5 millimeters and then extrude that up. Let's go for 80. And then on that face I'm going to create a 15mm lip along the top and extrude that out by 10 millimeters. So this is just something to mount our cam and our follower on. Now we need a spindle for our cam to revolve around. So we're going to create another sketch and create a 5mm diameter circle and then extrude that out by 5 millimeters as well. And then we have our frame in which to mount our cam and our follower on. So if we want to create our cam, we're going to draw a sketch on the surface of that frame. And I'm going to use two circles, a 20mm circle and a 10mm circle to create the shape of my cam. And then I'm going to use the line tool to join those two circles up. So if we go to create and then it's a line, or we can just press L, we'll do the same, and we can draw a line from the large circle to the smaller circle. If they don't quite line up now, don't worry, because we can just go to the tangent button there, click on the line, click on the circle, and it'll then line those two items up. Once we're happy it lines up, we can trim off the extra bits using the trim tool and then finish our sketch. We can then extrude our cam shape. It's important when we extrude that we need to change the operation to new components, so it is a separate entity to the frame, and then we can extrude that by 5 millimeters. Just to help me distinguish the different components on the screen, I'm going to then attach different material appearance to my elements. This just makes the different components clear to me on screen. So if I grab my cam and move it to one side using the mouse, you'll see at the moment it isn't attached to the frame. So we're going to assemble that. I'm going to click the center of that circle and the center of that spindle. And then we're going to change the motion to a revolute, which means you can see it spinning there on the animation. And OK. So if I right click on my joint icon and click on animate model, you can see it spins there as I'd like it to. Press escape to stop the animation. Next job, we're going to create a hole for our follower. So sketching on the top surface, we are going to create a 5mm diameter hole. We can't use the grid to center this time because the grid lines are in millimeters and we want it to be 7.5 millimeters, which is half of the 15. So we're going to start by drawing a guideline from the center point of there out to the middle, and we can use that then to the center our circle. So we've got a 5mm circle, click on finish sketch, and we can then extrude that. Let's just see it from a different angle. Oops, let's try it again. We can now extrude that down, so -15, so it cuts away through that frame. Make sure it's gone all the way through. Operation cut, OK. Next we're going to create our follower. So again, sketching on the top surface, we can create a 5mm circle in the same place as the hole, and then we can extrude that down to meet the cam. Just like the cam, if we try and move that follower, you can see it's not attached. So we're going to assemble those two components as well. So we go to assemble joint, and this time, rather than it being a revolute motion, you can see it spinning there on the axis. And we're going to go to motion, and we're going to create a slider joint, which means it's going to slide up and down through along that z-axis through that hole. Let's just quickly give that a material appearance as well. We'll go for blue. So our follower now slides up and down along that axis, but it goes through the cam, which we don't want to happen. So we're going to set some limits for our motion. So if we right click on our little motion, if I can get it there it is, that little motion symbol, and we can click to edit joint limits. We can have a resting point. So now if I click on resting and 0, whenever I move that, whenever I let go, it'll automatically go back to that resting point. So I can move it up or move it down, and it'll automatically spring back to that resting point. But I don't want it to go down, I only want it to go up. So we're going to right click again, edit joint limits, and we're going to give it a maximum movement as well. So we're going to tick on the maximum box. The maximum is going to be 0 as well. So if I animate that now, if I animate it without, you can see it goes up and down. If I click on maximum, now it only goes up and ends at that 0 point. So now the follower moves up and down like it should, and the cam rotates like it should. However, when I animate my model, you'll see when the cam rotates, it just goes through the follower as if the two don't exist in the same model. So we need to create some contact sets. So we're going to click on assemble, then enable contact sets, and this contact sets icon appears. We click on new contact set, and we just want to click on the two components that we want to be able to relate to each other physically. I'll click on OK, and now if I animate that joint, right click, animate model, you'll notice the cam pushes that follower up. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit sticky the way it moves at the moment, and that simulates what would happen in real life quite well, and that's because it's trying to move follower sideways because of that flat end. So what we can do to reduce that is if we create a rounded end to our follower and then animate that again, you'll see that that creates a much smoother motion as it would do in real life. So if we take a look at another model I've made with different shape cams, the shape or the profile of the cam makes a big difference to the movement of the follower. So the green eccentric circle cam allows the follower to do a long, smooth motion, continuously moving up and down. The blue X-shaped cam stays stationary for the majority of the rotation and then suddenly goes up and down as it hits the lump, while the drop cam goes up slowly and then suddenly drops.